All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the coin and welcome to That's Life podcast, where I've got my main man Ryan in the building with me. Ryan, first of all, how you doing?
Bro, good to be back. You know what? Undefeated in 6 games, I think. No,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
undefeated.
yeah.
Or is it seven? Did we lose one before that sixth game, or did we draw it?
Uh,
Well,
Undefeated in since the last international break till now. Prior to that, we had Crystal Palace, I think, draw. So that was undefeated. Prior to that, might have been Wolves. I think undefeated in like eight or something, maybe. Yeah,
yeah, it's been.
it's good. It's good
You
run.
know what? I think after that match, bro,
Hmm.
it was as I was telling you, just heaps of emotions.
Yeah.
And disappointment, thinking about. I think I messaged you something in anger today in WhatsApp during your live stream.
Yeah, it was. I
I was
think we just had plethora of corners, and you're like,
Yeah,
"What are these guys
right?
doing? We're not going to score
Yeah,
like this."
yeah, like just huddled in a corner, just like huddled like old baby ducks, and then after just running, it's
No, it's
crazy. But yeah,
it's it's mad.
but it was, after having like 10 hours to think about it, I think we have a lot of things to talk about. So just super happy to be here. What about you?
Yeah, man. Much like you as well. I was like, all of these corners. Every time I'm like, "Yeah, we got a corner," and I'm like, "But we don't do anything about these corners." So we're definitely going to talk about this. I want to kick things off. Look, I want to talk about a lot of juicy topics today with you because I think the viewers really want us to talk about these sort of things, and we're going to get to that. First of all, let's talk a quick few points in regards to how we saw the match. Me personally, Ryan, um, as you said, how am I feeling about this particular game? After the game finished, it was nearly 2:30 a.m. for me, so quite early, late, however you want to see it. I was tired, right? I was tired, and one of my first feeling was disappointment. I felt like we did enough to get a victory, but at the same time, I felt maybe we got away as well because
Enough to lose to.
both the keepers had a very good game. It was a mixed sort of situation in my head, and I think that was probably what was displayed in my review as well, where I kind of praised and then I kind of sort of looked back at the situation that we kind of got away as well. It was an indifferent kind of feeling, to
Let me
be
tell you,
honest. Yeah,
that shithousery from Forest during this whole game. It was I didn't feel it in such a long time, and I know why.
yeah,
Because now teams starting to have a bit of respect for Chelsea again.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
before, it don't matter if it was last place, 18th place, 17th. They were gonna try to get the win against
yeah,
Chelsea.
yeah,
This match from minute 48, they
yeah.
knew they just gonna play this shit out, waste as much time as possible. It was
Bro, dark arts at its finest.
yo, that's
they,
that's
they, they,
crazy.
they wasted so much time. I mean, Ryan, there was 13 minutes of added time. So you can imagine how much time that was wasted. There were fouling and there were pushing and fighting and, all sorts was going off. Look, Ryan, it's not a surprise that they went to Anfield and they got a victory. They're going to be difficult for quite a lot of top teams because they're structured well, they defend well, they defend deep, they're resolute in
Yeah.
defending, and they're very physical, man. Very, very physical. So it's going to be a tough task for a lot of teams. I think the goal that they conceded, Ryan, was their fourth goal they conceded for the season so far in the Premier
Um,
League. So it's not against a team that is somewhat of a Mickey Mouse type of a team. No, it's a good team. Ryan, look, uh, let's harp on some of the positives first. Being 1-0 down, showing the character of not folding, because honestly, at that point,
yeah.
you could probably think that Nottingham Forest so strong and so resolute in defending, and they can defend this match out now by sitting back. Very strong character to bounce back and getting
Yep.
that equalizer quite quickly as well. That must hold some value to you, obviously, in this particular match, even though it was a draw, we dropped a couple of points.
No, I feel like the whole first half, it felt like we just weren't stringing things together. But
Agreed. Agreed.
I just felt like from minute one, there was this urgency about our team that we wanted to kick off where we left off from previous games. I think coming into this game, it felt like the media was on Chelsea's back with praise and this and that, something that these players never really experienced before. When coming into Chelsea, it was like all the pundits, even Jamie Carragher, all these guys talking about
Everyone.
Chelsea, you know, Fabrizio Romano tweeting about Chelsea and
Big
titles
title
this and all.
contenders. Yeah.
Yeah, and even us fans too. A lot of the videos coming into it was really positive, and maybe overly positive or hopeful.
Yep.
And then I think I felt that urgency from them, and I felt when things weren't going right, their attitude did not change. Yes, they began to get annoyed with each other. I think like at a point, Cole Palmer like refused to pass back to Madueke when he was in trouble at the corner flag. Because I don't know if you recognize that too, but it had this point. It just felt like he was kind of wasting all those, and like he could have
because there were times where Cole Palmer did feed it through to Madueke, and then it didn't materialize to anything. So maybe he got frustrated after a while.
I felt like they really wanted to do well no matter when things weren't stringing along, and I think like Maresca gave them the opportunity. Like Jackson had that one ball in like the 46th minute where he ran through a bit and got a pass, and he left his confidence in the players he picked from minute one because he believed in them. And he gave them the time and the security to string things together without like kind of making them feel insecure that they're going to come out in the 45th minute, 48th minute, this and that. So yeah, I do applaud the attitude, and I think these young players, we say that they have inexperience, but I think they gather in experience now. Different situations, different types of defenses, different types of obstacles mentally. I could have seen that we responded well today, so I was happy with that.
I agree with you, man. Similarly with you, I think the first half, I felt just certain things it was just not clicking. Some of our passes were a bit astray. Some of the combination play, whether it be Sancho and Enzo Fernandez on the left side, or whether it be Cole Palmer or Madueke on the right side, whether it be people in the middle, it just wasn't clicking properly. And maybe Nottingham Forest has something to do with it, in the sense that they're just so difficult to open up all the time, even though I don't think that was a problem. If I'm being absolutely honest, I don't think the low block, everyone in the social media is talking about it's a low block. I think we created quite a lot of good chances. Both the keepers just had a madness, to be honest. Sanchez saved some really good opportunities, and so did the Nottingham Forest team. Now look, overall, Ryan, I think it's a fair result. I think this was a fair result because
it hurts.
It hurts. It hurts, but I think it's a fair result for both sides. Both sides can probably argue one or the other could have won. Now, look, I don't want to dwell too much about this match. As we've both said, I think we're in a good run. I think we're developing well. We're progressing well.
We're still in top four.
We're still in top four moving into this international break. I would have ideally liked to get the 3 points against Nottingham Forest and move into that Liverpool game with full of confidence. And now it's like it's up in the air a little bit, but it's fine. It's okay. International break. Hopefully, first of all, everyone stays fit, and then we can tackle the Liverpool. What I want to talk to you about, Ryan, some of the key issues, right, which are reoccurring now, right? And I think
Enzo Fernandez, let's call it as it is. Enzo Fernandez. Oh my God, bro.
You go ahead, bro.
I see the light. I see.
You see what I was talking about a few weeks ago when I was saying about this guy?
And I see exactly what you're talking about. And we see his talent like on paper, right? On paper, we think what this guy should be. And he was supposed to be that guy to help us break defenses, low blocks with passing, this and that. But it seems like the matches that he does the best in is those kind of basketball-like matches.
Yeah.
And when we're in this possession-based kind of playing, it just isn't odd to me how much he is lacking, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And it's
Bro,
apparent. I think today it kind of like broke the camel back where it's apparent.
bro, you know what the crazy part is for me? I've been talking about his off the ball flaws. I think that's quite evident now. How easily he gets passed by, doesn't win enough duels for me. Yeah, he might win the odd one here and there, but doesn't win enough. It's his ball playing, as you said. It's against the team that wants to sit back, wants to be resolute.
Yeah.
Ryan, there were multiple times easy passes. He was just giving it back straight to the opposition,
A
and I'm
bad
like,
first touch.
bad first touch, giving the ball. I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, dude, like it just can't. If you can't give us what you can with the ball, without the ball, you're a little bit of a liability anyway. And if you're lacking with the ball, we have a serious level of issue. And he's 100+ million player. Like, what happens now, Ryan? Because this is a glaring problem, which is a reoccurrence now. It's happening quite often.
Yeah, I think it goes down to this, right? You need to
Mm,
think from a systemic point of view what our coach wants from our deep line midfielders with respect to
mm,
passing. For example, under Tuchel, right? A lot of people wanted Kovacic and Jorginho to play those Iniesta, Xavi passes,
mm,
but it was really onus on our number 10 to be the extra free man in the pockets to play
mm.
those passes. And I think we could see something similar here where our pivot players, right? That double
Yeah,
pivot there, right?
yeah,
Their responsibility is to be very good on the ball, to keep the ball rotating
correct.
and getting the ball into the in tiny pockets, getting the ball to
Yes.
tiny pockets, rotating, switching play, getting it into spaces for attacks to break through. But if you
Mm,
think about line breaking, okay, they will have to break one line of play to get into the pockets. But when I talk double line breaking, like those passes that you saw from Cole Palmer to Madueke and this and that,
yes.
the
Yes.
onus in our system is actually our wide players or attacking players to drop into those pockets and get the ball there. For
Mm,
example, we see many times, not only Cole Palmer, he's the obvious one, but a lot of times Madueke would drop into those pockets too and lay the ball in behind to Jackson, etc., etc.
mm,
So
mm,
the onus is on our attacking players to really play those passes. So
mhm.
it is really, I could understand, okay, maybe Enzo would not play like Fabregas against a low block, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because maybe that's not his role. And maybe because he's defensively flawed, we can't just have him running forward and spraying those passes because he
Correct.
mightn't get to recover, right?
Correct.
And but when I think about the simple touches and layoffs and simple passes, just not being able to do them
That's an issue.
consistently. And it feels like in a kind of way, he's regressing in that way. And I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
Because he has the confidence from the manager, from the club, he's club captain most of the times.
Hmm.
So I don't see it from an emotional point of view where something is lacking. I don't know if maybe he is just switched off sometimes in little moments in the games.
Look, it's a strange one. He almost at times moves as if he's still carrying some sort of an injury. Like I don't know. Obviously, last season there was that hernia issue, and then obviously right at the end of the season he was put away because of the surgery. But even now, when I see him move around, I'm like, dude, I'm so sure the player I saw in Benfica, the player I saw in Argentina in the World Cup, was a lot more robust. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, you're like smallish in stature, but you were like a you were like a little chihuahua. Like you just got in and you just,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like now, I don't know, man. Just feels a little bit flimsy. Feels a little bit
yeah.
yeah, lightweight, and that's what worries me. Look, I don't know if you saw Kovacic's game for Manchester City. If you saw the highlight, like this
I saw a
guy,
tweet. I saw a tweet.
yeah, like this guy, honestly, he was fantastic for us. I always appreciated what Kovacic did. the one thing he probably didn't do enough was score goals. But he's gone to Man City, and it's like he's all of a sudden found his shooting boots, and he gets into
against
right,
us.
against us, and during the weekend. What I like about Kovacic, and I want, and I hoped that Enzo Fernandez would model his game kind of like that. Kovacic, if you notice, Ryan, he's always just in front of the defenders, sort of shielding and making sure, as you said, simple things, simple passes, keep rotating, keep keeping the possession. And then he's always at the edge of the box. If something falls, he's there to mop things up.
Yeah.
Is that, I see Enzo Fernandez in the game, Caicedo and Malo Gusto. We're going to talk about Malo Gusto straight after this, by
Oh
the way.
my God. How you know me so well, Miss? How you know
But
me
we
so well?
are this
That's the
that's
two
like
names I came in with. The two names, Enzo and Gusto. The two names.
and those are the two that I wanted to speak about from the get go,
Oh
right?
my
And then
God.
obviously others we'll talk about down the track. Malo Gusto and Caicedo are the two deepest, and then Enzo Fernandez at times was like sort of disturbing Sancho. It almost felt like Sancho was like, dude, you're really ruining my vibe now. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing here? Because you're not doing much. I mean, Ryan, how, as I said, like, I'd rather him model like the way Kovacic
Yeah,
plays, but
yeah.
he's just not doing that.
Yeah, I think, what it really is, Miz, is that first I want to say 2 points here. I would
Mm.
say observation point and a tactical point, right?
Yep.
Observation point. I watch a lot of football, like a lot of different leagues just for fun, analyzing stuff, right?
Mm.
And only when you watch those leagues, you could appreciate it for the amazing, beautiful football it has.
Mm-hmm.
But when you watch the Premier League, man, especially when your team is playing, you
Mm.
feel like you can't breathe
Oh,
because the
so true.
intensity in
Yep.
no, he just bust a F bomb there
But
on his
no,
parents watching. But the intensity in
the
this league,
effing.
man, yeah, the intensity in this league, especially in midfield, is
Mm.
crazy.
Crazy. It's
And
crazy.
maybe that could be a point to where Enzo, I feel like, even though he has that bulldog attitude or pit bull attitude, right?
Mm.
And even though he has the mentality and tenacity, maybe with those injuries from last season, etc., niggling injuries, like the intensity could just be too much, man. Because if he takes 5 steps forward, that ball comes at miles per hour back, and he just doesn't have the legs to go back and forth and back and forth and turn and pass, and it's like you can't
Mm.
breathe talking about it. I don't
Mm.
know, even like players like Caicedo and stuff, they act so quick and fast on the ball. It's crazy. The kind
Mm.
of passes that they have to do. I mean, watch us in the Conference League. I know it's a less teams, obviously, right? But
Mm.
just watch us against teams from other leagues, and the time that we would have on the ball in midfield would allow Vega and all these guys to make passes into the lines and stuff.
Mm.
But in the Premier League, that just simply isn't going to happen. When
It's not
Cole
gonna
Palmer
happen.
does it, he does it in half a second. He doesn't
Yep.
stay on the ball and watch around and do, those videos with Chavi like doing the, like watching from side to side and back
Yeah.
and forth. Bro,
Scan everywhere.
but if Chavi comes to Premier League and do that, he'll be watching from the floor, man. Because he would have got knocked down so long ago. And as I'm the biggest Xavi fan in the world, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but the league,
Yeah.
the style of football is just different. And that
Mm.
could be one thing. Maybe as much as he's talented and he could probably grow to be one of the best midfielders in the world in a different league. In the Premier League, maybe it isn't because you could compare Kovacic to him, but Kovacic on the ball glues to his feet. He's one
Yeah,
of the
bro.
best dribblers
Yes.
in midfield in the world. Even when he was
Yes.
in Chelsea, he's one of the best dribblers in tiny spaces on the turn.
That's the other thing
To,
Enzo Fernandez lacks, man. That ball
yeah,
carrying ability is so
and
important in
then
midfield. So important.
Kovacic is quick. Even on the
Yeah.
defense, he was quick. Maybe he
One
wasn't a,
touch.
a he wasn't a huge stature DM, but he was
Mm.
quick to come back and slide tackle, and
Yes.
he was
Yes.
very quick in defense and attack. Now, from a
Yes.
tactical point of view, um, what I realized with Enzo and is that with this inverted fullback thing, we
Mm.
try to have a 3-man midfield where the inverted fullback would come to make a three-man midfield with
Mm-hmm.
our two pivot players and that inverted fullback to create a numerical advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then um, that deep line player like Gusto, for example, or Cucurella, that
Mm-hmm.
fullback, and Caicedo would be the deep line playmakers, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But not in the essence of doing Xavi-like passes in behind to Madueke, etc. These players' main thing will be to cut one line of defense to go either wide or centrally, right? And that would allow Enzo to come forward in a kind of a angle where he could be the free man, right? To get that
Yeah.
numerical advantage. But what is Enzo's responsibility there? It's not to create. It's not to
Mm.
create. It's just to be a mediator in play, to be an
Mm.
extra body and a mediator. The real creator is going to be, I call Enzo the free man, but
Mm.
he's
Mm.
just the free man to eyesight, right?
Mm. Mm.
But the real free man is when the fourth man comes down and Cole Palmer and he's
Correct.
completely unmarked.
Correct.
And that
Correct.
is the creator in our team. So this is what the
Correct.
system does. So Enzo in this system is not he does not get afforded the space and time like a Cole Palmer to hit those
Correct.
passes. So that is
Correct.
from a tactical point of view, it's different.
Yes.
Whereas in Benfica and well,
He
Argentina and
was the
that,
he was the creator.
but the pockets where he used to be was like those Tony Cruz pockets, right? He would have time on the
Yes.
ball, he would be the regista, he'd go between fullback and centre back and this and that, and
Correct.
he would have time to pass. So it's two things to think about, a tactical point of view here, and then also the Premier League intensity point of view.
No, do you know what? Like Enzo Maresca prior to this match said that the way the Premier League is moving in midfield, you know, a lot of physicality. Like you need players that are going to win duels, they're going to win, you know, the second balls, which I've been saying for so long. And it almost feels like, as you said, like Enzo Fernandez's tactical duty is like, yeah, create that overload, but you're not the free guy. The free guy, as you said, is Cole Palmer when he drops in, or whoever
Exactly.
else that drops in.
Exactly.
So it's almost as if like, if that is his duty,
Yeah.
then I think someone else can do that.
Yeah.
Someone
You
who's a
see,
little bit more athletic can do that.
the thing is, he does like if you check it, it has one or two times he did good touches to Sancho with the side of your feet and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
In those pockets there. I think one of the when things go wrong is when our fullback decides to get forward, like make that
Mm-hmm.
underlap and run forward. It leaves Caicedo alone there, and then on transitions it would count because the fullback isn't going to come back because they done committed to go in the edge of the box. So now Enzo would be the one who seems as if he's caught out, but he's not really caught out. He's just in the position that he started off in. So now the onus is on Enzo to drop back to try to support Caicedo. And that's why it could look so bad. And then Enzo's playing a kind of unnatural position too, where he has to be mediator in the pockets. And you just ask that question, maybe a next midfielder could do that better. But
That, that's exactly what I'm thinking, Ryan, because our next opponent, Liverpool, I
doing
look at,
everything.
yeah, like Gravenberch at the moment, just playing out of his skin. He's doing so well. And I kind of liken McAllister's duty. Like you see the way McAllister moves and you see the way he plays on the ball. I thought maybe Enzo Fernandez is someone. You remember when we talked about this a long time ago, Ryan? I remember you were the first one to say this to me. That Enzo Fernandez is someone who can transition from 6 to 8 to 10, you know, as he's
Yep,
building up the game. And I'm kind
exactly.
of liking that to McAllister because McAllister sort of starts deep,
Yep,
progresses into midfield, then gets into advanced positions, and
yep,
he's lethal weapon, right? If we don't have this capability for Enzo Fernandez, if he can't showcase that against Liverpool,
yeah,
we're going to be in trouble, man. We're going to be
yeah.
in big, big
I
trouble. And
mean,
I'd rather have someone like Romeo Lavia or even Renato Viga, to be honest.
and maybe we kind of learning things together talking about this because we kind of like brainstorming it here and we
Mm,
don't really have time to brainstorm it on our own.
mm.
Because when I think about it, right, um, you know how you say you're starting from 6 to 8 to 10?
Yeah.
That's it feels like Enzo's starting position is like a 8 going
Yeah.
into 10, right?
Yeah. He
But the
doesn't
thing
stay
is,
at 6.
in those basketball like matches, the transitions are so heavy. Enzo is actually playing in a deeper position there,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And it's
Correct.
when he gets those ball in those deeper position, it feels like Fabregas to Diego
He's a
Costa,
lot better. He's a lot
Fabregas to
better.
Diego Costa, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah. Look at
maybe,
Brighton. He was deeper, right?
yeah. So and then when we have possession and teams sit back, he plays like a kind of 8 into 10, right?
Correct.
But
Correct.
maybe the position, maybe the problem isn't Enzo can play against low blocks. Maybe the problem is Enzo's position in the system against lower blocks. Because if we
Yeah.
employ him like a deep line six, he
Mm.
could probably get so much like balls into the pockets to our attackers. It would be amazing for us, right? It,
It
it kind
would.
of it just feels like with this system that Enzo Maresca is doing, it probably just does not fit Enzo when we keep in possession.
You're right, and it's mad how we've come to this situation after 7 games where prior to the season we thought Enzo Maresca's one of his main players is going to be Enzo Fernandez, but it's now almost as if, and it's what you said, like Enzo Maresca, you've said it from the get go that he might have fooled us to believe that he's a possession based manager, but I think it
No,
more looks like he's a pragmatic
guy,
manager who's more
yep.
result oriented. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you, I think that year in the championship did him well too. He knows exactly what to expect from English football because he
Yep.
played the roughest of the. I think championship. If you go 1 year in the championship, you know you learn the English game,
You're
and I
you're bang
think
on, bro. You're bang on.
like Maresca is probably used to this kind of Nottingham Forest kind of deal every
Mm,
week.
mm,
And
mm, mm.
last year, I think what it goes down to though, a big question to ask
Yeah.
before we really give gusto what we think about him is
Yeah.
that just clenching my fist here as I talk about it. Um,
It's gonna get a grilling.
yeah. I think the question is though, the obvious thing you would say, well, we have Romeo Lavia, he would be more suited to
Mm,
this, right? But if you
mm.
think about that City match where he played, right? That was the first match he played with Caicedo, right? It was
Yes,
Fabia
yes,
and him. He was
yes,
fantastic, but he played in the deep line role. He was the
yes,
sixth. He played like
yes,
a regista of sorts, right? It
yes.
was really Caicedo who played in the Enzo role,
Correct,
right?
correct.
Ca-
Yep.
Caicedo played like a kind of Kante, but a
Mm,
ball
mm.
playing Kante. Maybe
Yep.
not exactly like Kante, because Kante was a animal, one of the best of all time, right?
Yes, yes.
But you understand what I mean? He was more box to box, hitting those passes. I think in that City match, we saw just how good Caicedo is on the ball when he's
Yeah.
actually given responsibility to do the passing. It
Es-
was amazing to see.
Especially when he's not just given the responsibility to do the pass, but more being box to box. I think in this game, it affected the entire midfield situation affected Caicedo's game as well. And I've seen this many times. Whenever the midfield where Enzo is a little bit flimsy, it kind of affects Caicedo's game. And then when
Get that
finally,
early yellow card too because
yeah,
of
got
it.
the early yellow card, and then Enzo Fernandez was substituted off, and then Caicedo was given the opportunity to sort of be the deep lying playmaker and string those passes. And I don't think his passing game was on it as well. Um, as I said, and as you've just mentioned, I think Romeo Lavia suits that position a little bit more, and he's got that athleticism to cover the ground a lot more. So let's see what happens. It is a bit of an issue at the moment with Enzo Fernandez. We just need to find the right balance. Let's talk about Marlo Gusto, man.
Oh,
This
the fist
guy,
is clenched. This guy,
honestly,
man.
Ryan, like I don't know whether I should blame him because I'm thinking, first of all, Enzo Maresca, why are you preferring him to invert? Like, why are you preferring him?
Oh,
You know what I wanted for this game, Ryan? In my preview, I said Wesley Fofana, RCB, Tosin in the middle, Levi Colwell, LCB. Now, Levi Colwell in the middle was fantastic. We got to praise Levi
yeah,
Colwell.
very
Cucurella.
good,
Levi
very
Colwell
good.
was excellent from a defensive standpoint and from a ball playing standpoint. He was brilliant, and so was Cucurella. But I
Yeah,
thought it was going to be Wesley Fofana, Tosin, Levi Colwell, and left back Cucurella. But Cucurella inverts, and then it's a back three. What happened in this game was Levi Colwell in the middle, Cucurella LCB, and Wesley Fofana RCB with with Malo Gusto inverting. Now, Malo Gusto inverting, this guy, I don't think he completely understands what he's doing over there. And on top of that, just low percentage shots from distance.
Dude,
Some of his
let me tell
crosses
you.
were pathetic. It was just
No,
not good. I didn't like it. And
my
then the goal that we conceded as well, long ball coming, and it was a mismatch for him. Do you know what I mean?
I think Malo Gusto is one of those players. He's a good player,
Yeah, yeah.
as in like he would be in a team and like he would have a game and you would never say he have a horrible game. But then because he does the movements right, like tactically he follows good instructions. Like to adapt to that inverted role as well as he did so quickly, probably never playing that in his life. He did really well. I think he could make like quick touches under pressure to keep the ball flowing. He does counter press really well to win back the ball in midfield and lay it off. He could run back and defend on the transition. I think all that as well really frustrates me about him is just his carelessness when he gets into good position in the
Yeah,
final third.
yeah.
I think like the amount of times this guy could cross and gets himself into positions to cross. His
And the
crosses,
time he has as well,
yeah,
Ryan, the amount of time he
yeah.
gets.
The crosses is from the worst crosses I ever see in my life. And
Yeah.
it's not worse as in the quality of crosses, right? But it's just like the careless nature. He would just snap his foot at the ball, not caring about technique, not caring about where anybody is, not raising up his head to see where he wants to hit it. It feels like he doesn't even watch to see if anybody is in that area or not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's awful,
He just
man.
hopes for the best. He just hopes
I,
for the best that it's going to work out.
it's kind of like you get the ball in those right hand side positions, and in one hand, Malagusto has like a 1% rate in doing a good pass, and then in Madueke, you don't know which one is going to turn up. The one that's going to try to hit 8 shots alone and dribble through everybody and not pass and
Yeah,
be a superhero, or the one that would decide one day he wants to play mature football and be better than he is. Because Mabueke is our next one. Like
yeah.
when you
Don't
gonna
worry,
grow
we'll
up?
talk about him.
No, but I want to talk about him now. When you gonna grow up?
Do it, bro. Yeah.
When you gonna grow up, man? Like I'm like your age probably, or just a couple years older than you. I'm not even in the game, man. Like when you gonna grow out of this thing?
But
It's
the
like
amount of time Madueke gets into some lovely positions. Do you know what? You actually blew my mind last week when we talked about Madueke and Jackson and how important they are to the system.
they
I see
are,
it. I
they
see it.
are.
They are so vital. Look at the way both of them pressed in this game, which
They
created
are.
opportunities for us. But this brother Ryan, he gets into that position where you think, okay, now is the money making
I feel
situation.
like
Now you're about to make the money, and he fluffs it
yo. I
time in,
feel
time out.
we and he's special, man. Not special as in like Cole Palmer or world class special, but just the raw power and pace and good touches to cut in and lose his one-on-one marker. Like one-on-one with Madueke, you could be confident that he's gonna make something in that final third.
Yeah, yeah.
But when he does all the hard things, and then the easiest thing of them all is just getting the right pass. It's just awful, or the right shot. Like the kind of shots I saw him take from the type of angles today, man. And those kind of chances will cost you. And I will say this. I will say this. Pedro Neto. This guy, most of the crosses he hit to find João Felix for that header. João
Oh,
Felix is
wow.
short and
Wow.
like let me tell you, anytime Pedro Neto gets that ball in behind, I know that he's probably going to find somebody in that
He's
box.
decisive. He's decisive.
And
Yeah.
I will say that as much as I think Mavic is something has a good talent and I want him in the squad, I think that to reach that next level is Pedro Neto.
Remember what I told you last week as well when you were saying how important, Madueke and Jackson is. And I said, I agree with you with the Jackson because I don't think Nkunku can give us everything that Jackson does outside of
Yeah.
scoring. But I did say that Pedro Neto, I think, is someone who can definitely take over because he can give us everything that Madueke does, plus the final third, better decisioning. Pedro Neto, what I really like about him, predominantly, he's decisive. Look at the way he scored the goal against Ghent during midweek. I know Madueke scored as well in this particular game, but after how many chances? After like 6, 7 chances. And so many of them he should have easily tucked away. And then so many of them he shouldn't have gone for a shot. He should have squared it. But he just doesn't do that. So, look, I won't be unhappy, Ryan, if we make the switch of Pedro Neto becoming the Premier League player for us and Madueke becoming the cup player for us. Like, would you be okay with that? Like, would you say now that Madueke has had enough starts in the Premier League to really cement a position?
I think yes, but I'm just trying to think in the mind of Maresca, because I feel Maresca genuinely likes his front three:
Yeah.
Sancho, Jackson, and Madueke.
Mm.
For me personally, I don't know, man. Because something about Madueke, even though he makes me so angry,
Mm.
they just have a way of making something happen out of nothing. But sooner or later, you're gonna have to give Pedro Neto that chance in the Premier League. You can't just have this man playing against like teams on a mountain in Europe, and scoring goals for fun,
Absolutely. Like today, honestly, Madueke had enough moments to be far more decisive, and these type of games, where it's difficult, like opposition is very, very physical and strong defensively, you just got to put away most of your chances if you can. Like, this is the game where you want to be as lethal as possible. I've got no problems if you are missing some opportunities against West Ham when we are 3-0 up. This is the one where rest of the teammates are not finding the back of the net. Like, make it count. Make it count.
Let me ask you something. Do you think it's a situation where is it a Misha is Misha situation with Madueke and Jackson? Because listen, what we're seeing here from Madueke and Jackson, I know Jackson was not fault too much this game, but Jackson last game, tell you that these guys, I know these guys, man. I went to school with them. I know them, right?
Yeah.
I know these guys. This is nothing new for me, right?
So you think they're not going to change?
Is Nico is Nico? Is Nico is Nico?
Is Madueke is a Madueke?
Madueke is Madueke. Is it just something like that, man? Do you see that changing?
I don't know. Deep down, I feel like maybe Madueke can change. I don't know, as soon as you asked me that question, I just had this feeling that this brother, all we need to do is just sit down with him and just go, mate, have a look at some of the footage. Whereas with Nico, I truly think he's not a striker. I think he's a winger or a second striker. So with Nico, I can put my hand on my heart and say, I don't think he becomes a natural striker. Because you either have it or not. With Madueke, I just get the feeling, brother, you have it. You got the skill set. You just calm yourself. Assess what you're gonna do. Watch the videos. He just needs to really apply himself, man. It's like this, Ryan. You know when you're studying, like back in university days or whatnot, like your peers, your lecturer, your tutor, they can see you're a smart individual. You understand the concept. You just need to now apply yourself. Practice. Have a look. This is the problem. Keep practicing. Find the solution. And once you do find the solution, make it a habit. Make it a habit. I just feel like he can do that. I don't know. Is that how you feel or not really?
You see, I think so.
Mm.
But I think it's like, how we always say like Sancho needs love. I know we always say, but this is like the notion going around. Sancho needs
Mm.
love, Lukaku needs love. I think some
Mm.
Mourinho said Lukaku needs love. I think Madueke needs challenge. Because no,
He
for
don't need
real.
love. He don't need love.
No. Because he responds to that, man. I remember when he came out and there was rumors about selling him, and he was like, he scored, and he's like,
Mm.
sell me. And he
Yeah.
scored and he scored. He's like that kind of player wants to prove people wrong. And
Mm.
I think the only way we change Madueke is like I like his shooting technique. I think like when he squares up to shoot, it's the ball comes off his laces amazingly. He's a good
Mm.
shooting technique. Mentally, somewhere there, he's just not making the right decisions. And I think we have the right person right behind him, Pedro
Mm.
Neto. I think, for example, I kind of fear for João Felix because I
Let's
don't
talk. Let's
know.
talk.
I'll finish this point and we'll get into
Mm.
João Felix. I fear for João Felix because he's not the kind of personality who will come into a game,
Yeah.
substitute on. He
Mm.
wouldn't respond to competition well, João Felix. Not because he has a bad attitude, but he probably just doesn't have the ferocious personality for it, right? Whereas Madueke, for example, if we replace him with Pedro Neto for 1 or 2 games, I'm sure when Madueke
He's
comes on, he will come on and score 1 or 2 goals.
yeah.
But for João Felix, when he comes on now, I know that mightn't be the case. Even Nkunku, he came on today, he had like 17 minutes. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him, you
Yeah.
know? And even like Jackson, when he's not in the game, you still see him. Like he's still fighting with somebody or doing something.
I
It's
think he
like,
could be in trouble, by the way.
who?
Slapped someone. Nicholas Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think he might be in trouble. He might he might
Yeah.
he might get suspended for a
Well,
bit.
we
Yeah.
might have nobody. We might have to go to. Well, anyways, we have good players still, but
Yeah.
you know, you need to see how with these players, man. You need something. I don't think it's down to training and watching match footage and telling them the right thing to do, because
Mm.
remember these decisions they're making is kind of on instinct. It's like the last second kind of instinct that we could never imagine playing at that level. Because I think
Mm.
like even if they watch their own matches, they would get angry with themselves. No, honestly, I think if Madueke watches match, he'll be like, "What's wrong with? Is this
What's
me?"
wrong with this guy?
Yeah, but in the moment, something there is where they kind of probably go back to like the automatic movements, what they've done their whole life, and they're not fully focused on what they want to do.
True.
And when
Very,
Madueke
very
gets
true.
dropped, boy, when he came in for Wolves, he was fully focused that I'm gonna get this net bulging.
Can I tell you? I don't know if you know this. Enzo Maresca post match. Do you know what he said about Madueke?
What?
He said prior to this game, he said to Madueke, "You scored a hat trick and then you forgot how to score."
Exactly.
And then he scores, and his celebration, he points towards Enzo Maresca, saying, "There you go, I just scored." You might be onto something again, bro. You might be
Yep.
onto something again that this guy, I think, he can only respond to when it's a challenge. But
Yep.
look, as great as that sounds, Ryan, you gotta able to self motivate yourself as well. Like
Exactly.
you can't. There may not be a challenge sometimes. What do you do then? Just not be
Yeah.
you anymore. You're just
He
always waiting on
becomes his own
challenges.
challenge. He gets himself back on the bench. He's like, I need a challenge, man.
I need a challenge. Let me just bench myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
um, yeah, go on, bro.
no, but wait, what you're gonna say?
I was just going to move into João Felix, but
Yeah.
yeah, that whole Madueke, it's a good talk that you provided.
Miss,
It's a good thing, but it's a problem as well. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, Miss, before we move on to João Felix, I feel like we
Yeah.
let this guy get under our radar, even though we had him by the collar, ready
Mm.
to roast him up. Gusto, give me
Oh
30
yeah.
seconds of Gusto before we move on, because we can't let him slip and slide our
No.
graph so easy. No,
Talk.
it's you. You go for him. Yeah, you go for him.
Look, for me, this guy is a genuine right back. I like him when he's bombing up and down, and he's overlapping. Him playing in this position where you need to be a midfielder. Yeah, there's some good about him. He's technically sound. He's quick with his feet, but you got to make better decisions in that position, man. That position is not a muckabout position. That position is not something that you can just uh, go get by just being average. For me, Malagusto, if we are going to continue in this vein where he's going to invert,
You want me cook something?
go on.
I'm gonna make the most horrendous cooking in my life. This is like on part of being bad as Mizball. Remember that one time on Eunice Talk Football, you was like doing some Mizball tactics, and it was the most horrendous tactics that I've ever seen in my life. This is like what 3 years ago. This is a long time ago, 3 years ago or something, right? I'm gonna
Yeah.
do the most horrendous tactics here, and don't hold me by it, right? This is just me talking to my friend here, right, guys? This Miz and I, right? But think about this, right? We have Lavia in midfield, right? Kukurea left back inverted, right? We have Viega in midfield with Lavia. Defensively good, sound, could do that, right? And we put Caicedo right back until James is fit.
This is not an outrageous thought at all, because he's done that for Brighton. A lot of people have been talking about this. I've seen it in
Yep.
social media
Yeah, he
saying
has
that
played right back before,
yes, and
even for country
Roberto,
too.
yeah, and Roberto De Zerbi deployed him the exact manner, inverting
Yep.
from right back and then shifting into right back position defensively.
That would be
Um,
amazing, man. Lavia, him and Viega in deep midfield,
I've got no
and
issues
then
with that
Kukurea.
because Ryan, the way Malo Gusto is playing, he's not really a right back. Correct? He's
Yeah,
not really a
yeah.
right back. And
But
defensively, he's okay, but he gets into problems like
you
today
see,
where long ball comes in and he can't defend. You know what I mean?
you
Like at least
see,
Caicedo, I think, can do that.
I'll play devil's advocate here, right? Why he's so important. So you know how we talk about Cole Palmer is going to be that fourth guy that
Mm.
comes in into midfield, be free man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time, like how unpredictable Gusto's runs are.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would like off the ball, run straight towards the CB onto the right side, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he would free Cole Palmer to drop into the pocket so much. And then
Mm-hmm.
Madueke could get super wide and then challenge the fullback by running in behind. All of
Mm.
a sudden, you just have those three players moving into twine with each other that just suits Cole Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
It really gets the best out of Cole Palmer. And putting someone like Caicedo right back there is, would he make those runs that Gusto is making? Because if you think about it, Gusto is positionally playing in that inverted role. But
Correct.
many of our attacking movements, he plays like a normal right back.
True. True. Yes.
He,
Yes.
like for example, Kukurea, right? He would play more inverted throughout the whole game, right?
Yes.
But if you think
Yes.
about um, Gusto, he only starts the movements from a ball playing point of view as a midfielder,
And
and
then
then
drifts.
he really confuses that right side. And I think that is something we can't downplay because that
Mm.
is what gets Cole Palmer free and Madueke free and this and that. And that's
True.
something Caicedo won't be able to do, or even James.
True. True. Yeah, you're right. There is some give and take with Malagusto. But at the moment, the way I'm thinking about it is that I rather have Kukurea invert. Like, I rather not have that side invert. And this is why I'm like, just play Tossin. I think play Tossin through the middle, play Levi Colwell as LCB, and play Wesley Fofana as RCB and to cover
You
that
trust
side of the
Hassan
field.
to start?
That's the other question, man. But I just feel like three at the back with the height advantage for Tossin, just defensively, we're going to be a little bit more resolute. Um, I don't completely trust Tossin either. Like, I think he's got moments of lapses as well, but I don't completely like the way Malo Gusto is getting deployed. That's what I'm trying to get to. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to compensate for that. Um,
Yeah.
I don't mind the Caicedo solution that you've provided. I know it won't give us that impact of allowing Cole Palmer and then Malo Gusto overlaps. But at the moment, Malo Gusto is not really giving us what we really need, inverting. So I rather Cucurella invert. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which does definitely. I think when you watch this team, is definitely a position Enzo on him it showed today, both of them. Something was lacking. I want to touch on João Felix and
Let's
Nkunku
go.
before like we wrap things up probably.
Yes. Yes.
Um, I would say that I kind of fear for these two people because I think I
Big
see
time.
what manager Maresca is, and I kind of like it.
Hmm.
Is that he is sticking to his 11. He picked his 11. He's sticking with it, and I think
Yes.
just because of that, you're seeing how well Colwell and Fofana is getting to know each other now. Like
Yes. Yes.
that combination, and then Kukurea in that mix, like
Hmm.
that three of them in the back there are getting to have understanding with each other
Hmm.
now. It
Hmm.
even reaches to the point that you don't feel like Kukurea gets caught out that much again. Because
Cucurella and Colwell have been boss. I think Wesley Fofana is still a little bit shaky here and there, but I
yeah,
get what you mean. Like that chemistry is probably growing. Yeah.
the chemistry is growing. Like Fofana could still get there, but
Hmm.
I think he's definitely the starter for us still.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
as opposed to the rest. Like
Yeah.
we don't even wanna talk about the other options we have at center back, right? But
Absolutely.
um and that the point I'm trying to make here is that if he likes Sancho, and Sancho I feel is undroppable at this point now too, and that left there, he's doing
Hmm.
really well. But Sancho, Jackson, Mawiki, he likes that midfield. I don't know what it will take for Maresca to switch that in an actual Premier League game. Because we are in top four now, and top four is something where, if you're fighting for the Premier League title, and you're playing a smaller team like 18, 19, 20, you might like make a few changes, save people for a Champions League game.
Hmm.
We don't have Champions League games, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
there isn't an opportunity for bench players who are doing well to come in and start a Premier League game.
Yeah.
All our Premier League games with top four being so competitive, like we have like fifth place, sixth place breathing our necks down right now,
Yeah. Yep.
right?
Yep.
It's goal differences now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. hundred
Um,
percent.
what would it take for someone to get dropped from Maresca? Because he seems to have belief in Jackson and Madueke, right? And but at some point, one, Pedro Neto has to be starting soon because this guy is knocking on the door big
He is
time.
knocking. He is
He
knocking.
is
Yep.
knocking
He is knocking.
from even from a Premier League. Like sometimes you put in Felix and Kunku and you say, I don't really see them,
Hmm.
but Pedro Neto, you notice when he comes on,
For sure.
he's
For
knocking,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's only going to get better too. But
Yeah.
Felix and Kunku, we always watch our bench and we always like, wow, we have the best bench in the league. Like, look
Hmm.
at this attack we have.
Hmm.
But from a mentality point of view, I don't see these two players coming in and changing a match. Not because of the skill. From their
Yeah.
skills, I would say definitely they could come in and change a match. There's one of the best footballers in the team, two of the best
Hmm.
footballers in the team.
Hmm.
But from a mentality, tenacious point of view, to get into a Premier League match that's back and forth and a battle like today, to come
Yeah.
in and impact the game like Neto did.
Hmm.
Like Neto came on like with his warrior shield on and just got stuck in. But
Bro, he did not take a single minute to adapt. He's on
yeah,
it. He's on
yeah,
it.
he's playing against his past manager. He knows exactly what kind of football it's gonna be,
Mm.
right?
True,
But
true, true.
for for example, I kind of fear for these two because what it's gonna take for these two to break through? And Kunku, he's scoring every time he starts. He scores. He scores. He
Mm.
scores. But he's still. What is going to take for Nkunku to start a Premier League match? And then it goes to show João Felix now. He's probably saying, well, Nkunku is scoring every game. I'm not. What's going to take me to get a Premier League match? Not even Nkunku, but me.
Do
So
you know what? Yeah, go on.
what is the players feeling? Do they feel like they have a chance to come in? Like, do they feel like that their hard work is going to be rewarded? Or they feel like they're going to work hard, help the team, but at the end of the day, they will not get to start? What do you think?
Look, I think the hard work will be rewarded. Maresca comes across a particular manager that's not going to deny hard work, but we need to define what is hard work. Like, what is hard work in terms of Nkunku? Just being able to score, a hat trick, or being a very good finisher. Hard work for me is not
The whole
only,
thing.
yeah, it's the whole package. Like scoring, assisting, good on you, no problems. There are other players that are doing that as well. It's the whole package. You can't just go the entire match like Ghent in midweek. And Nkunku, I didn't see him often enough.
Yeah, I didn't see him too. I didn't watch the match, that's why.
I didn't see him until he probably scored the goal. Like prior to that, I wasn't really didn't notice him enough. So for Nkunku, I think the message is clear. Nkunku, you're a very good player. You're a very good finisher. But in the Premier League, the way
Need
the
something
opposition
else,
play,
man.
yeah, you got to. This is why I keep harping on about Nicholas Jackson. If he had Nkunku's level of finishing,
He's a
it's not
Premier
a
League player,
but
Nicholas
it's not a
Jackson.
discussion. It's not a discussion anymore, right? The problem is Nicholas Jackson doesn't have that, and that is a big problem. But what Nicholas Jackson has is all the other attributes, all the other, that press. How many times Nicholas Jackson and Madueke's press has created opportunities for us? How many times? It's not a joke.
Yep.
It's not a joke. This is
Yep.
one of our policies. Can Nkunku do that? No.
No.
And if you're not doing that, then you're allowing the opposition to build up from the back seamlessly.
Very
Then our
well.
midfield gets exposed even more. Then our defense gets into a lot of pressure. People need to understand it all starts from top.
Yep.
A lot of people might listen
Whoa.
to. Pause. A lot of people
Yo,
might.
what are we talking about?
A lot of people might listen to this and go, "Oh, when did strikers have to work that hard, man? Just give them the ball, just score the goals like that." You need to understand modern day football.
Teach them is preach.
Like you have to do all the hard work from the top, and then only the defenders are going to be able to feel, confident. Like some of the best teams who are defensively so good, it's not because their defenders are very good. It's because all the work that gets done ahead of the defense,
Yeah.
which then allows the defenders to feel confident to, take care of the whole situation. So Nkunku needs to realize that. In terms of Joao Felix, Ryan, I'm scared. I'm actually scared for this guy. I like him so much. I know you like him so much. I know a lot of the
Of
fan
course.
base likes him. This guy, you know how we say, we talked about Enzo Fernandez, model your game around Kovacic, right? We talked about Madueke. Look at what Pedro Neto is doing. Joao Felix, you have to see what Cole Palmer is doing, brother. Like, you're
Exactly,
literally
yeah.
playing where Cole Palmer will be operating.
Yep.
You need to see and understand how Cole Palmer's operate. Cole Palmer,
Oh my God.
he's a massive character, man. This guy. You
Yep.
see that footage, how he touches. I don't know what he did
Oh,
there, bro. Ball came
oh
to
my
him. He
God.
laid it off
Miz.
behind the defender, and then he was there for a shot, bro.
Miz.
That's some sorcery kind of stuff. Like that's some
Miz
black magic kind of thing,
is
bro.
the best player in the world. I would say I do not see that. I do not see that kind of skill.
Uh, I don't know what he did. What was that, bro? Ball came
I
to him.
don't.
He
There's
laid it
sorcery.
off to
Yeah.
himself. He laid it off
Yeah.
behind the defender for himself.
Yeah. That
So look,
was.
that
I
was
think
mad.
you're right, bro. I didn't even think about it like that. Joao Felix, like, but you something about Cole Palmer. He just has a tenacity to him and the press. And I think you're right, bro. He's everything that Joao Felix should try to be. And you know what? the season is long, and I don't want anybody to get injured. But we can't think that Cole Palmer is gonna play 60 matches in a row
No,
and
this is
start.
why I'm glad he's not
So
participating in the conference league. Do you know what I mean?
so yeah, so we need. I'm not saying he's gonna get injured, but there's gonna be rotation, especially
Hmm.
coming to December. You're right about that. Um, if you want to touch on this before we leave to
Yeah, yeah.
um Jaden Sancho.
Mm,
Yo, I had
mm,
no expectation for Jaden Sancho coming in. I was
mm.
just thinking, oh, it'd be vibes to see him like back in 2017, 18. We wanted him bad. All of us making our lineup 11s with Jaden Sancho on the left. I remember all those times, man. I was there.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it just, but wow. I think that he just looks so confident.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a kind of player. He's not a Madwiki type of winger where he's super explosive like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
just he has such good touches, and
Mm-hmm.
he's so smart on the ball, and he knows exactly when to pass and when to
Yeah,
shoot.
yeah.
I just think he's just so effective.
My only criticism about Sancho from these three matches is Sancho, you are fantastic on the ball. You link up well. Your vision is good. You're always finding runners. My only criticism is Sancho. I want you to be more decisive when you feel like you are in a beautiful position to take a shot,
Exactly.
bro.
Yeah, he doesn't
Tap,
shoot enough.
bro, he doesn't shoot enough.
Yeah,
Smash that. Believe in yourself. I need Sancho to have his usual artillery of finding those assists, link up from the left side, cut in, find those through balls, but every now and then get the opposition to think twice because you will have the capacity to cut in, open your body, and you know
yeah,
bend that shot. You need that, Sancho. That is so important to your artillery. You have that, you become unstoppable from that left side. You really do. If you don't have that, opposition will probably wait it out with you. They'll just wait to see what you're doing,
yeah. I think
and
he
they'll.
would because notoriously he's a player that goes for goal
Hmm,
when he's a bit
hmm.
more confident. He's showing
Perhaps
a lot
that's the
of
case.
confidence, but like when he was at Dortmund, he was the guy in attack along with Haaland. Like you just
Yes.
expected him to score goals.
Hmm,
And
hmm,
I think we have big personalities, even though we have young guys,
hmm.
like to come into our front line with Jackson and Madueke is kind of intimidating because they are huge personalities.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're the most mature, but they
Mm,
are very imposing personalities where they want the ball, they need the ball. You know what I mean?
mm,
They
mm, mm.
they're not letting you come into the front three and be the star because they are the stars. They kind of act like that.
Yeah,
If
I
that
agree.
makes sense.
I
It's
agree.
not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. I like that attitude, right?
Mm.
So I think it will grow into his game. It definitely will. It definitely will. So yeah,
No, 100, man. No, man, Ryan, look, once again, it's been a fantastic conversation. We touched base on quite a few things. Look, there are positives. We're not shying away that the fact that there aren't positives. There are, we've said Kukurea, Levi Colwell. We've talked about players like Cole Palmer, Sancho. Our run has been very, very good since the
yeah.
last international
No, yeah,
break. So now we see what we can do post this international break, which is going to be very difficult because the fixtures are mad.
yeah. I'm telling you, as much as we wanted to win today, and it would have been sweet, and we could have
Hmm,
won today.
hmm, hmm.
To win today and then win against Liverpool and these guys after the international break, you're talking about like a 10-11 game winning streak, breaking
Mm,
records, Antonio Conte season.
hmm,
So maybe it's good to put things into perspective where we draw, but
mm.
we are a hard team to beat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
last season, you could say that we were an
We
easy
would have
team
lost
to.
that game. Yeah, would have
Yep,
lost that
we
game.
would have lost that game. And I think we're seeing progressive steps,
Hmm.
and maybe it's a good wake up call too.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a good wake up call at the right time
100%
because
agreed.
this past week we were getting glazed from journalists
Hmm,
and
hmm,
from media and YouTube and all the TV stations about how
hmm.
great this Chelsea team could be, and blah 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 blah. And now it's a little reminder that if you want to win, you need to be switched on. It's moments define a game,
Yes.
and those moments that we miss those chances defined it today. So we go into Liverpool with an extra kind of focus that we're
Yeah.
not taking things lightly.
No, I agreed, man. Agreed. And I've said it in the last few videos that karma, karma, all of these people getting so excited about title challenges and this, that, and even top four. I said, look, top four's definitely up for grabs, that fourth position. I think the top three with Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, they'll probably fight things out. But the fourth position's fierce. There's quite a lot of teams that are trying to go after that. We just need to take one game at a time and not get too ahead of ourselves. And as you said, this was a good, nice little reality check that life's not that easy. Life's not that
Mhm.
easy. So you got to really work hard. But look, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap things up. We're going to, both Ryan and I will come together next week and see how the week has transpired with
Yeah,
all the news that will drop through. And then we get shaped up for the fixtures after the international break, which is, I don't think there's one easy game after this international break
this
until the
is
next one.
crazy. Yeah,
This period
let me tell you,
after is
big
going to be
period.
mad. Mad.
Mad wakey.
Mad week.
Yeah.
Medway. But yeah, Ryan, thank you so much for your time, my man. Appreciate that. And yeah, to everyone watching, smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Thank you so much for 36,000 subscribers. Let's now go towards 40,000. That is the next big milestone. That'll be brilliant once we hit that, God willing. And yeah, make sure you follow Ryan in all of these socials, which is in the description. Until next time, everyone, take care. See ya. Goodbye.